As Eldoria began to rebuild and fortify itself against future threats, Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira knew their mission was not yet complete. Despite their victory, remnants of the darkness still lingered, and ancient secrets remained buried in the past. They decided to delve deeper into the history of Eldoria to uncover any remaining threats and ensure lasting peace. Their first destination was the Ancient Archives, a hidden library said to contain the oldest records of Eldoria. The archives were located in a secluded valley, protected by powerful magic and guarded by enigmatic beings known as the Keepers. The journey to the archives was filled with anticipation. As they approached the entrance, they were greeted by the Keepers, tall figures cloaked in shimmering robes. One of the Keepers stepped forward, his eyes glowing with wisdom. "Welcome, seekers of knowledge. The archives are open to those who seek the truth." Lyra nodded respectfully. "We seek to understand the origins of the Shadow King and any remaining threats to Eldoria. We need to ensure that our world remains safe." The Keeper gestured for them to follow. "The answers you seek lie within. But beware, for knowledge can be as dangerous as the darkness itself." Inside the archives, the air was thick with the scent of ancient parchment and magic. Shelves filled with dusty tomes and scrolls stretched as far as the eye could see. The group split up, each member searching for clues and information. Lyra focused on the history of the Shadow King, poring over texts that described his rise to power and the ancient heroes who had once defeated him. She learned that the Shadow King had been a powerful sorcerer who had turned to dark magic in his quest for immortality. His ambition had nearly consumed Eldoria, but a group of legendary heroes had managed to banish him to the underworld. Meanwhile, Kai discovered records of other dark entities and magical anomalies that had plagued Eldoria throughout history. He found references to ancient curses, forbidden rituals, and long-forgotten spells that had the potential to cause great harm if left unchecked. Drake, with his affinity for the earth, delved into texts about the ley lines and the natural magic that flowed through Eldoria. He discovered that the ley lines were not only a source of power but also a network that connected all living things. Disrupting these lines could have catastrophic consequences, but they could also be used to strengthen the bonds between the regions. Mira focused on the ancient songs and legends of the Sirens. She uncovered melodies that held the power to heal and protect, as well as those that could summon storms and calm the seas. These songs had been passed down through generations, each one holding a piece of Eldoria's history and magic. As they shared their findings, a clearer picture of Eldoria's past began to emerge. They realized that the Shadow King was not the only threat. They needed to address other lingering dangers and prevent any dark forces from rising again. One of the texts Lyra found mentioned a hidden sanctuary where the ancient heroes had left behind powerful artifacts and weapons. These relics had been enchanted with the essence of the heroes themselves, designed to protect Eldoria in times of great peril. "We need to find this sanctuary," Lyra said, her eyes filled with determination. "These relics could be the key to ensuring lasting peace." Kai nodded, his expression resolute. "Agreed. If these artifacts are as powerful as the texts suggest, they could help us defend Eldoria against any future threats." Drake crossed his arms, deep in thought. "But where do we start? The location of the sanctuary is not mentioned in any of these texts." Myra's voice was soft but confident. "The ancient songs might hold the answer. There are melodies that speak of hidden places and forgotten paths. We need to decipher them." With a renewed sense of purpose, they left the archives and traveled to the Misty Isles. There, Mira led them to the heart of the Sirens' Grotto, where the oldest and most powerful songs were kept. The air was filled with a haunting melody, resonating with the magic of the Isles. Mira sang the ancient songs, her voice weaving through the melodies and unlocking their secrets. As she sang, a vision began to form, a map of Eldoria, with a hidden path leading to the sanctuary of the ancient heroes. "The sanctuary is hidden in the Whispering Woods," Mira said, her voice echoing with the power of the songs. "We need to follow the path revealed by the melodies." With the map in hand, they set out for the Whispering Woods, a mysterious and enchanted forest said to be alive with magic. The trees whispered secrets as they moved, guiding them towards their destination. As they ventured deeper into the woods, they encountered various challenges and trials, each designed to test their resolve and unity. The forest seemed to sense their intentions, helping them along their journey while also ensuring they were worthy of the sanctuary's treasures. Finally, they reached the heart of the Whispering Woods, where a hidden door appeared before them, carved with ancient runes and glowing with a soft light. The door opened, revealing a grand chamber filled with the relics of the ancient heroes. The sight was awe-inspiring: swords that shimmered with enchantments, shields that radiated protection, and artifacts that pulsed with magical energy. Each relic was imbued with the essence of the heroes who had once saved Eldoria. "We found them," Lyra said, her voice filled with reverence. "These relics will help us protect Eldoria." As they carefully selected the relics, a sense of peace and purpose settled over them. They knew that the journey ahead would still be filled with challenges, but they were now better equipped to face them. With the relics in hand, they returned to the Aurora Forest, ready to strengthen Eldoria's defenses and ensure that the light would always prevail over the darkness. The return to the Aurora Forest with the relics of the ancient heroes brought a renewed sense of hope and determination to Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira. The powerful artifacts, imbued with the essence of Eldoria's legendary defenders, would be instrumental in fortifying their homeland against any future threats. As they approached the ancient altar once more, the leaders of Eldoria gathered, their expressions a mixture of awe and anticipation. King Elander and Alara stood at the forefront, ready to witness the unification of the relics with the artifacts already in their possession. Lyra carefully placed the relics on the altar, their combined energies resonating with the artifacts, creating a powerful aura that enveloped the clearing. The ground trembled, and the air crackled with magical energy. Alara stepped forward, her eyes filled with wisdom. "These relics hold the essence of Eldoria's greatest heroes. When combined with the artifacts, they will create a powerful barrier that will protect our land from any future darkness." Kai nodded, his hand resting on the hilt of his sword. "We need to harness this power and create a permanent defense system. We must ensure that the light of Eldoria will always prevail." Drake, in his human form, crossed his arms, his expression serious. "We should also train new guardians to wield these relics. They need to be ready to defend Eldoria at a moment's notice." Myra's voice was soft but firm. "And we must continue to strengthen the bonds between our regions. Unity is our greatest strength." The leaders of Eldoria agreed, and plans were set in motion to integrate the relics into the defenses of the regions. The relics would be placed in strategic locations, creating a network of protective wards and barriers that would shield Eldoria from any dark forces. As the preparations began, Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira took on the task of training new guardians. They traveled across Eldoria, selecting individuals who demonstrated courage, strength, and a deep commitment to protecting their homeland. In the Crystal Plains, they trained warriors to wield the Tempest Crystal, teaching them to harness the power of the storm. Kai led the training, his experience and strategic mind guiding the new recruits. In the Shadow Mountains, Drake trained a group of warriors to use the Earthstone, teaching them to channel the power of the earth and nature. His knowledge of the mountains and their secrets proved invaluable. In the Misty Isles, Mira taught the Sirens to wield the Ice Heart, blending their natural affinity for water with the powerful magic of the artifact. The Siren songs and magic became even more potent, ready to defend their homeland. In the Aurora Forest, Lyra and Alara trained new mages to use the Sunstone, harnessing the power of the sun to create powerful wards and spells. The forest's ancient magic provided a perfect training ground for the new guardians. As the training progressed, the guardians grew stronger and more confident. They learned to work together, their unity reflecting the bond between Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira. The network of relics and artifacts created a formidable defense system, ready to protect Eldoria from any future threats. One evening, as the group gathered in the Aurora Forest, Lyra looked at her friends, her heart filled with pride and hope. "We've come so far together. Our journey has been long and challenging, but we've achieved so much." Kai smiled, his eyes twinkling with warmth. "And we'll continue to achieve even more. As long as we stand together, we can face anything." Drake nodded, his expression serious but content. "The darkness may always be a threat, but we are stronger now. We are ready for whatever comes." Myra's voice was soft but resolute. "Our unity is our greatest strength. As long as we remain united, Eldoria will always be safe." As the fire crackled and the stars shone brightly above, the four friends knew that their journey was far from over. but they also knew that they were ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. The new guardians they had trained would carry on their legacy, protecting Eldoria and ensuring that the light would always prevail. The bonds they had forged, both with each other and with the people of Eldoria, would endure, creating a future filled with hope and promise. As the days turned into weeks, Eldoria thrived under the newfound unity and strength. The Guardians, trained by Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira, took up their roles with pride and determination, ensuring that the regions remained safe and prosperous. However, not all was as peaceful as it seemed. In the shadowed corners of Eldoria, whispers of dissent began to stir. Not everyone was content with the new order. Some felt that the power held by the artifacts and relics was too great to be centralized, while others harbored old grudges and mistrust. These whispers grew louder, reaching the ears of our heroes. One evening, as the group gathered around a campfire in the Aurora forest, Lyra voiced her concerns. "I've been hearing troubling rumors," she said, her brow furrowed. "There are those who believe we hold too much power, and they're starting to sow discord." Kai nodded, his expression serious. "I've heard the same. Some fear that the Guardians and the artifacts could be used to control, rather than protect." Drake crossed his arms, his eyes narrowing. "We need to address these concerns before they escalate into something more dangerous. If we don't, we risk weakening the unity we've fought so hard to build." Myra's voice was soft but firm. "We should speak to the leaders of each region and reassure them. Transparency is key. They need to understand that our intentions are pure." The group agreed, and the next day they set out to visit each region, starting with the Crystal Plains. There, they met with Kai's sister Kara, who had become a respected leader. "Kara, we've heard rumors of dissent," Kai began. "We need to address these concerns and ensure that everyone understands the importance of our unity." Kara nodded. "I've heard the whispers too. Some fear the power we hold, but I believe in what we've built. We need to communicate openly and remind everyone of our shared goals." Together, they held a council meeting, inviting the leaders and influential figures of the Crystal Plains. Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira spoke openly about the importance of the artifacts and the Guardians, explaining their purpose and the safeguards in place to prevent abuse of power. "We are here to protect Eldoria," Lyra said, her voice steady. "The artifacts and relics are tools for defense, not for control. We must trust each other and work together to ensure our continued safety." Kai added, "Our unity is our greatest strength. Divided, we are vulnerable. But together, we are unstoppable." Drake's deep voice resonated with authority. "We faced darkness and emerged victorious. We must not let fear and mistrust weaken us now." Myra's melodic voice calmed the room. "We are all part of Eldoria, and we must look out for one another. Our bonds are what make us strong." The council listened, and slowly, the tension in the room began to ease. The leaders of the Crystal Plains pledged their continued support, vowing to quell any dissent and reinforce the message of unity. Next, the group traveled to the Shadow Mountains, where they met with Zara and the Goblin leaders. Zara greeted them warmly but acknowledged the growing concerns. "Some of my people still struggle with old loyalties and fears," Zara admitted. "But I believe in our alliance. We need to show them that their future lies in unity." A similar council meeting was held, and Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira once again spoke of their commitment to protecting all of Eldoria. They emphasized the importance of trust and cooperation, and by the end of the meeting, the goblins reaffirmed their allegiance to the united cause. In the Misty Isles, they faced a different challenge. The Sirens, while generally supportive, had begun to feel isolated due to their unique abilities and way of life. Mira led the discussions, reassuring her people of their vital role in Eldoria's defense. "We are an integral part of this alliance," Mira said, her voice carrying the weight of her sincerity. "Our songs and magic are crucial to our collective strength. We must not let isolation breed distrust." The Sirens listened, and their concerns were addressed. By the end of the visit, the Misty Owls stood firm in their commitment to the alliance. Finally, the group returned to the Aurora Forest, where they met with King Elander, Elara, and the other elven leaders. The elves had always been a steadfast part of the alliance, but even here, whispers of dissent had begun to surface. "We need to ensure that our own people are fully on board," Lyra said to her father. Unity must start at home. King Elander agreed. We will hold a grand council, inviting all our people to hear the truth and pledge their support. The Grand Council was a magnificent gathering, with representatives from all regions in attendance. Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira spoke passionately about their vision for Eldoria's future, the importance of the artifacts, and the need for trust and unity. The darkness we faced was formidable, but our unity saw us through, Lyra said. We must hold on to that unity, now more than ever. Kai's voice rang with conviction. We are stronger together. Divided, we fall. But united, we can face any challenge. Drake's eyes blazed with determination. The artifacts and relics are tools of protection, not control. We must use them wisely and with respect. Myra's soothing tones echoed through the hall. Our bonds are our strength. Let us not forget the power of our unity. The Grand Council ended with a renewed sense of purpose and solidarity. The whispers of dissent began to fade, replaced by a collective resolve to protect and strengthen Eldoria. As the group stood together, watching the people of Eldoria reaffirm their commitment to the Alliance, Lyra felt a deep sense of hope. They had faced many challenges, but their unity had always seen them through. With their bond stronger than ever, they knew they were ready for whatever the future held. With the whispers of dissent quelled and unity restored, Eldoria entered a period of peace and prosperity. The regions worked together seamlessly, their bonds strengthened by the trials they had faced. However, the group remained vigilant, knowing that peace could be fleeting and the darkness could return at any moment. One evening, as Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira gathered around a campfire in the heart of the Aurora Forest, they reflected on their journey so far. The firelight danced in their eyes, casting shadows on their faces. We've come a long way, Kai said, his voice thoughtful. But we can't let our guard down. We need to keep improving our defenses and training new guardians. Drake nodded in agreement. The relics and artifacts are powerful, but they're only as strong as the people who wield them. We need to ensure that future generations are prepared. Myra's voice was soft but firm. And we must continue to strengthen the bonds between our regions. Unity is our greatest weapon. Lyra smiled, her eyes filled with determination. We've proven that together, we can overcome anything. As long as we stand united, Eldoria will remain safe. Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of Alara, the wise mage. Her expression was serious, her eyes reflecting the flickering flames. I have received troubling news, she said. There are signs that the darkness may be stirring once again. The group exchanged worried glances. What have you learned? Lyra asked, her voice steady. Alara sat down, her gaze fixed on the fire. There have been reports of dark creatures appearing at the edges of our borders. They seem to be testing our defenses, probing for weaknesses. And there are whispers of a new leader rising within the remnants of the dark forces. Kai's jaw tightened. We need to investigate these reports and deal with any threats before they can grow. Drake stood, his expression resolute. I'll lead a reconnaissance mission to gather more information. We need to know what we're up against. Mira nodded. I'll coordinate with the sirens to monitor the seas. If the darkness is returning, we need to be prepared on all fronts. Lyra placed a hand on Alara's shoulder. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. We'll take immediate action. The next morning, the group set out to investigate the reports. Drake led a team of elite warriors and scouts to the northern borders, where the sightings of dark creatures had been most frequent. Mira organized the sirens to patrol the seas, using their magic to detect any disturbances. Lyra and Kai traveled to the Crystal Plains, where they met with Kara and the other leaders to discuss their strategy. The mood was tense, but the leaders remained determined to protect their homeland. We need to strengthen our defenses and increase patrols, Lyra said. We can't afford to be caught off guard. Kara nodded. We'll double our efforts. The Crystal Plains will stand ready. Kai's strategic mind went to work. We should also set up a network of scouts and informants. We need to know what's happening at all times. As the preparations were made, Drake and his team scouted the northern borders, their eyes sharp for any signs of movement. They discovered tracks and traces of dark creatures, confirming Alara's fears. The creatures were indeed testing their defenses, searching for weaknesses. Drake's team engaged a group of the dark creatures, swiftly dispatching them. The creatures were stronger and more organized than they had anticipated, indicating the presence of a new leader. Returning to the Aurora Forest, Drake reported his findings. The dark creatures are more organized than we thought. They're testing our defenses, and they have a new leader. We need to find out who this leader is and stop them before they can gather more power. Myra's patrols had also encountered dark forces at sea. The sirens used their magic to create barriers, preventing the creatures from advancing. The darkness is trying to surround us, Myra said. We need to stay vigilant. Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Myra met with King Elander and Alara to discuss their next steps. The situation was dire, but their resolve was unshaken. We need to unite our forces and prepare for a full-scale attack, King Elander said. The darkness will not catch us off guard. Alara's eyes were filled with determination. We must also seek out the source of this new threat. If there is a new leader, we need to find and eliminate them before they can grow stronger. Lyra nodded. We'll lead the charge. Together, we can face this new threat and protect Eldoria. As the group prepared for the coming battle, they knew that the calm before the storm was over. The darkness was stirring, and they would need all their strength and unity to face it. But they were ready. They had faced darkness before and emerged victorious, and they would do so again. With their hearts full of determination and their spirits unbreakable, Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Myra looked towards the horizon, ready to defend Eldoria and ensure that the light would always prevail.